Welcome back to Pokemon Colosseum. At the end of the last episode, we cleared the first half of Mount Battle, finishing after the 50th trainer. So in this episode, now that we have gained that experience from all those battles, I believe it is now time to finally take on the Shadow Pokémon Lab. So we are finally departing from Mount Battle at last and moving on to the next area in the main story because we are definitely strong enough at this point. Just kind of going through my items there. I'm just trying to check to see how many Pokeballs I have, as well as some other heals. I think overall we might be good to go, but it may not hurt to stop at a shop between now and then. But now it is time to finally depart Mount Battle. One more stop on the way there is Rui's grandparents' house. Ah, Rui and Wes, it's good to see you back. Sorry I haven't sent you any email, even though I asked for your PDA number. That's what happens when you get old, you lose the aptitude for gadgets. Well, I guess I'm not really complaining too much. You don't see me complaining at all, do you? But yeah, no, I just wanted to kind of stop over here. Sometimes they have new dialogue and from these key characters, so I wanted to kind of talk with them and just see if they had anything new to say. I wonder what that's all about. Oh yeah, a little while ago, someone built what looks like a laboratory out in the desert. Makes me wonder what anyone want to be studying out there. I mean, there's nothing out there but sand. So that guy has said that before. Just wanted to kind of talk to him again. One other thing I actually want to do, since I am here in Agate Village, is I want to go ahead and stop at the daycare center. Now, we were here before when we nicknamed our Espeon. If we actually talk to the daycare lady this time, I want to actually drop off one of our Shadow Pokemon with her. I think it's a perfect opportunity for her to raise one of our Shadow Pokemon, and it is going to be Noctowl. We'll come back here later, pick it up, and see how well it's done. I also want to go ahead and pick up another berry from this old man. I think it's actually beneficial to do this, even though you can only get one berry at a time. So we actually have two Prism berries. These actually prevent confusion. We'll go ahead and give that to Cotton Swab, just in case it gets confused, and we need a way to snap it out of it. Well, let me have a peek at your Pokemon. Well, your Pokemon all seem to be happy and good-natured. And one final visit is the Relic Stone. I actually want to go ahead and just kind of chill here in the Relic Forest for a bit. Knowing that we are going to be traveling to the Shadow Pokémon Lab, which is what I believe to be one of the darkest locations in the game, just knowing that that is actually where all the Shadow Pokémon are being created and corrupted. I think it's time to kind of mellow out a little bit and kind of take in the environment around us here, because again, this is a location that is really a dime a dozen in this game, and we're not going to see many peaceful environments like this coming up here soon. In fact, I think the rest of the game from here on out gets pretty dark and pretty heavy in terms of story, especially now that we have access to the Shadow Pokémon Lab. After all those errands are done, it is finally time, at last, to revisit the Shadow Pokémon Lab. Let's go. Here we are again. As you can see, yes, the main gate is still closed, but this time around, we have a key. The main gate key, to be exact. So we'll go ahead and actually use it, since we did not have it the last time we were here. And that will open the door, allowing us inside of the laser fence, giving us access to the one and only Shadow Pokémon Lab. Now we can kind of scale the perimeter of the lab. We've already done that outside of the fence, but now we can do it inside. And I think there's only a couple things we can get here. There's an item box right here in the corner we could not have grabbed before. And it's actually going to contain 2 full heals, so not too bad. We could use those at a later time, maybe. I guess we'll wait and see. There's really nothing else you can get around the outside of the building, so for now, we'll just kind of head inside. It looks like the shutters there on the left are actually locked, however. So the only way in is through this door on the right side. Ugh, I don't know. I'm just kind of getting creepy vibes already just by sitting foot in here for only a matter of seconds. If we come over in here, we can actually find a shutter switch. We can press it, which will actually open up the shutters outside, the ones we could not get through just moments ago. And now that that is open, there's only one thing left to do, and it is to go back to that other side and see what's in there. Over here, as you can see, we have a PC, so kind of nice. Little convenience there if we want to switch out Pokemon, which we're not going to, or if we just want to save our progress, which is actually a perfect time to do that. Now that I've saved, and we have actually finally entered the lab, we can go and explore this side of the lab and kind of see what's going on in here. Nothing really to see here other than some stairs that we can actually go down. And down here, we have a bunch of emptiness. No, there's actually a lot to find in here, believe it or not. This is discrimination. Why do they single me out for these extra assignments? There's still packing left for the move out of this lab. Whoa, 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 who are you? You're suspicious. Therefore, you must be intruders. It looks like Cat is out of the bag and we have already been found out, even though we've only been here for a matter of seconds. So you're going to find several different researchers in this lab that will most likely battle you. I think every single one of them will battle you. Some are optional, some are not. So it looks like we are going to have to battle our way through this place, just like with every other main location that we've seen so far. Yeah, so the Shadow Pokémon Lab is going to contain mainly trainers that have electric type Pokemon. I'm not sure exactly what the meaning behind that is. Maybe it's because that's essentially their way of powering the place up and keeping the electricity on for them to do their evil deeds with creating the Shadow Pokémon. Not 100% sure, but you are going to see teams that are pretty much going to be mostly electric type Pokemon. And again, like I said, we will be finding more Shadow Pokemon in this place as well, so keep an eye out for them. I think most of the researchers actually do not have Shadow Pokemon, so that's one thing to also stay aware of. It's mainly going to be the Cypher Goons that we will come across here very soon that are also kind of hidden throughout the lab. But right now, we'll take a couple easy fights here. I mean, some Voltorb aren't really anything to sweat over, so we'll kind of take them out with some simple attacks here. Nothing too crazy yet. Marsha grows to level 40. That's a good milestone. And we have defeated Researcher Myron. What did I do to deserve this? You worked for the wrong side. And really, that's all it was. Ah, I'll make you regret seeing me. I think you don't have to do that. I think I'm already regretting it right now as we're talking. He will drop a card key. We can go ahead and pick this up. We can use that to move on throughout the lab. Oh, that's the card key. We can now get into the lab. So perfect. So if we go down these stairs, you'll notice this little area looks a little familiar. There's an item box right here in the corner we can grab for some elixirs. But if you remember way back in the subway area when we were chasing Venus, we took the Shadow Liner and it took us to the Shadow Pokémon Lab as well. This is actually the area where they blew up that door and essentially destroyed a big part of the lab. Yeah, that was the same room. So kind of cool that you kind of go back down there, that you can go back down there and kind of check it out a little bit. Again, nothing really down there other than that item box, so nothing too special to see, but it is kind of cool that they kind of give you a little bit of a preview of what the lab looks like before you even get a chance to come here. But now that that side is cleared, we have nothing else to do over there. So now, if we go over here, as you can see, yeah, this door was not actually accessible the first time we came in this way. We actually still needed that card key, which is why I went over there first. We go to the slot, we can insert the card key there, and that will grant us access to the actual main part of the lab. This is where we're going to be getting our hands dirty, folks, just saying. Get ready for some craziness that is about to pop up at us left and right. So after taking this elevator here, this is essentially the main part of the lab, essentially the central part of it. We can go over here and see there is a door right here leading to another elevator. However, it does not appear to open from that side, oddly enough. We go to the opposite side, we can explore a little bit more. Another door we can actually go through. Bunch of lockers. I wonder what's hidden in those. There's an elevator over there. I don't want to take that way yet. That is the correct path that we're supposed to take now, but I actually want to explore this part of the lab first. And we have another researcher. Okay, we can dump this data. Let's see now. What? Quit annoying me. You better get ready or Master Ein will... Huh? Wow, you two, you're not lab staff. I took that researcher down with no problem. He had, again, nothing but electric types. So no big deal or anything with him. We just wanted to kind of bypass him there. We can see another door here. However, it looks like we need another key that we do not have currently, unfortunately. So we cannot proceed through that door. Just wanted to kind of show what was down there. Now, heading back over to this side of the lab, we can finally go down that elevator. Never mind. Intruder alert. So we have the first of several Cypher peons that are going to stand in the way between us and exploring the deep roots of this laboratory. So he's going to throw out an Apom and a Furret. So we look at a couple of normal types here. Nothing we can't take care of. I'm going to throw out Cotton Swab and Marsha. Looks like Cotton Swab is just a little bit away from a level up. Very nice. And what do we have here? We have the first of several Shadow Pokemon to be found in this laboratory. Of course, this is where the essentially the Shadow Pokemon are being created. So this is the source of where they are coming from. It only makes sense to find a bunch of them in this place. So, like I said, there's going to be several Shadow Pokemon in this location. And it might even be safe to say this is the one location in the game where you're going to find the most of the Shadow Pokemon overall. I could be missing out. I could be overthinking some other locations as well. I know there's other locations we will be finding in the game before we finish the main story, obviously. But this is definitely going to be the root source of where you're going to be finding a majority of the Shadow Pokemon. So we have Apom here. We're going to do our best to see if we can capture it, add it to the list, and see what we can do. I'm actually recording this right now as it is pouring down raining like wild cats and dogs. But hopefully the sound of that pour down is not going to interfere with any of my voice here, my voice audio. I guess we'll find out once we get to that point. So we'll go ahead and paralyze Apom with Dragon Breath. Very nice. One good reason to have Dragon Breath on Cotton Swab is the fact that it can actually have a chance of paralyzing the opponent. So I feel like we're at a good place now, especially after coming back from Mount Battle. We had literally 50 different fights that we just participated in, gaining us a significant amount of experience and training, getting ready for this place. I think we are all good to go here. But yeah, as you can see, I was not lying when I said that most of these Pokemon you're going to be facing off with are going to be at least level 40 or close to that or higher. So Apom right here is a good example of that. Alright, so looks like the Ultra Ball is what did it right there. After several attempts, Apom is ours. Now he's going to send out Cast Form. Nothing we can't handle. Believe it or not, and every time I see a Remoraid, it just reminds me of the failure I had back at the Pyrite building when we were unable to catch that Shadow Remoraid way back when. That still kind of makes me a little upset. Even though it's happened to me several times, I cannot believe I actually let it happen again when I was actually recording this, so kind of embarrassing. We're going to let the rain drizzle down. So yeah, that's actually going to boost Marsha's attack, well, at least for Surf. I guess we can go ahead and, actually, we'll go ahead and put Cast Form asleep. But what I was going to say was Cast Form actually kind of frightens me more than the rest of the Pokemon that I've seen on this guy's team, mainly because it has the ability to change its form based on the weather in the battlefield. So as you can see, it has now changed into like a water form, and now that it's using Sunny Day, that's actually going to change its form once again into a sun form. So it essentially takes on a completely different type and ability when it does that, which is actually something to be afraid of, because if that thing knows Solar Beam, especially if it flashes a sunny day like that, that can be kind of deadly. So as you can see, it is actually using Weather Ball. This is actually the move I was kind of afraid of, because Weather Ball was actually boosted by Sunny Day. that actually gives it a boost to its weather ball attack. Luckily, we were able to put it to sleep with the yawn. That was kind of part of the strategy I was going with there just moments ago. And we're going to go ahead and finish it off with Surf. So yeah, cast form can be kind of deadly. You're going to have to, as cute and cuddly as it does look, you kind of have to still watch out for it. It is a pretty mean foe when you're facing it off against it in battle. We've defeated Cypher Peon Cole. And he will not be the last of the peons that we will be destroying in this place. We'll go and take that elevator down another level. And looks like we have some more research materials here. We have a nice shiny object on the desk. Looks like we found a DNA sample. That's kind of interesting. If we take a look at that, and you can see that, yeah, there's really not much of a description there. It's just a DNA sample that we found here in the lab. It's kind of interesting. I wonder what that's going to be used for. Hey, now, you're not supposed to be in the lab without your lab coat. Wait a minute. Your faces aren't familiar. Intruders? And it self-destructs. Yeah, Electrode can be pretty infamous for self-destructing. So, something that's kind of interesting and a little bit deadly. Now that that fight's over, we can continue our exploration of the lab and see what else is up here. So, you're Wes, aren't you? The word is you've been wrecking havoc with our plans. Sure have, buddy, and you're the next on the list to be wrecked. We are facing off with researcher Corin. So yeah, as you can see, like I said, some of the researchers in this place are optional to fight, some are not, like this guy. However, it is very important that we do fight some of these guys because this one in particular has something important for us that we actually need in order to progress further into the lab. So now that we are actually here in the Shadow Pokémon Lab, I have to say, we haven't really seen a lot yet, but already you can kind of see that this place is definitely not somewhere where you would want to be. So the Cypher organization is essentially a lot larger than we ever imagined. Not only did they have, obviously workers that are willing to defend their main, locations where they essentially hide out. We saw that back in the Pyrite building and even in the Pyrite cave. So not only do they have those type of individuals who are very committed and are willing to challenge anybody that kind of that kind of infiltrates their territory, but they also have an entire lab with researchers that actually work for the organization, which is very, very scary and probably scarier than even anything we've seen up until this point. Because these guys can be very intelligent. They probably know what they're doing. They probably have past experiences working on other projects, maybe similar to this one, and they're most likely being paid, a good amount of money to actually carry out part of the plans that Cypher has, which is to create more Shadow Pokemon and essentially violate human nature, in the Pokemon universe at least. Which is very, very scary in itself because who knows how long they've been working in this place and what other capabilities do they have other than creating Shadow Pokemon. It really makes you think, with certain types of minds which are just greedy enough to, commit an act like this for the sake of money or making a profit. What else could they be capable, what else could they possibly do? What other damage can they cause in this universe and in this world? Kind of scary if you think about it. But yeah, I don't know. I know it's kind of, again, it's a Pokemon game, but again, I've not yet seen a Pokemon game, I don't think, that has kind of went to a place that this one has with its story, with how dark and grimy and slimy some of the inner workings of these antagonists are, and kind of what they're really developing here in this game. Because it goes beyond just snagging Pokemon away from like bad trainers or bad people that are, willing to do awful things to them. It's, this is a very thought out, thorough plan that I guess has been in the works for quite some time, long enough to where they have had time to develop all these Shadow Pokemon and kind of release them out into the world, giving them to trainers, and challengers who are, who have proven their strength in, various tournaments, You know, very scary stuff. And again, it just kind of makes you think, like, what other lengths are they willing to go to, you know, I guess make a profit or to, I guess, dominate the world? Like, it really makes you wonder, like, what greed, power, and just overall, the type of character that they are, like, what that will do to somebody and how that can actually damage a lot of stuff around you. Very crazy. But we went ahead and finished this guy off. Again, he has nothing but he has mainly electric types, which with Mud Shot and with Sage here, we can kind of resist them pretty well. The Shadow Pokemon that were made here have been transported out already. Battle all you want. There's no stopping our Shadow Pokemon plan now. We'll see about that, bud. Go ahead and grab another shiny here on the desk, and we have the downstairs key, which we can actually use in order to access that door that we were not able to get through before. So he's a little bit arrogant there. A little creepy, though, because, again, we don't know how far these guys have gotten in this plan. We are just... So now that we have the downstairs key, we can finally open up this door, because that's actually what was needed to do that. We'll go ahead and use it. The door opens, and we proceed, and look at that. Yeah, we are stopped yet again, but by more Cypher scum. She's telling us the obvious. Obviously, we know we were not supposed to be here, which is why we are here, because this is when you should have hopefully not expected it, even though it looks like you have. Now, I'm kind of curious about something, and it does have to do with the Cypher peons. Is jumping down from very obscure places part of their MO? Because, like, like, for example, like the one we're fighting now, she just jumped down from the ceiling, and we've had this happen before where you know, usually they'll pop out of very obscure or very creepy places. Like, even like when we were traveling through the little cave that essentially connects Agate Village to the Relic Forest. We saw a couple of them jump down from, like, the ceiling in that cave as well. So it kind of makes me wonder, is that them, you know, again, is that their MO, or is that just them auditioning to be ninjas? Because they definitely fit the bill for ninjas. They are definitely creepy, and they have popped out at us in a very eerie way many times, you know, throughout this game. So, I don't know, it just kind of makes me wonder if that's their MO, or if that's actually something that they just like to do. But here we have the next Shadow Pokemon. It is indeed Murkrow. So I know without it having the ability to evolve into Honchkrow, since this is still Gen 3, it probably is a little bit limited compared to what it probably could do if it was able to evolve, but in this gen. But again, it's just kind of one of those Pokemon that I feel like if we had just been playing a different game, that I feel like if I was just playing a different game, would maybe a little bit more, I guess, interesting to kind of think about using. But again, I've already built up my team already, so I just kind of want to, again, I do like to kind of share my opinions on, you know, if I think these Pokemon are good or not. Even if I'm wrong or other people disagree, I think it's important to maybe emphasize the fact if this is a Pokemon that you might want to add to your team, because maybe there's people out there that have no idea. So you never know. Even though my Pokemon team is complete, we are still going to, of course, catch this thing. And we have it down to, like, nothing when it comes to health, so I'm hoping that it doesn't take itself out if this was to fail. And it's a success. Very nice. We actually captured it in a regular Pokeball. How often do you see that at this point in the game? You might be young, but you know what you're doing. Yeah, well, your mother told me that last night as well, so I guess apple doesn't fall far from the tree. All jokes aside, we have cleared this hallway now. We can move forward. We have a room right here. What the hell is this all about? I've been hired to tend to Pokemon, so that's what I've been doing this whole time. Were you folks wanting a Pokemon too? Well, we are here to snag them, but not in the way you're giving them out. That's so, that's fine then. They've all been taken away somewhere, every last one. We have another shiny object here on the floor. We have another DNA sample that makes the second one that we've found so far. So as you can see, it just kind of says the same thing the first one does. Nothing too descriptive. But yeah, this room actually is where apparently they were holding Shadow Pokemon. These are like pens that they were using to actually hold them captive, which is very gross and disgusting. And that guy is just giving them out like he's giving out tickets at a carnival. Very disgusting, very gross. Yeah, again, we are here to snag the Pokemon, but we are not going to obtain the Pokemon in that way. So we have to decline his offer. We have another trap right here, another ambush. This time it's by Cypher Peon Vanna. She is going to have a Zubat and a Pupitar. Pupitar is interesting. We have actually not seen this Pokemon in the game yet. This is, again, like I have been mentioning, where we're going to be seeing some stronger Pokemon. And knowing that most of these teams are going to be in their level 40s, it's going to make sense that we're going to see a little bit more of teams that have more evolved Pokemon. It's not the same, not really the same as we've been seeing in the beginning, where it's mainly been like Zigzagoon, Whismur, Lotad, like things like that. We're going to start seeing some actual Pokemon that could actually be a threat. But again, since we did take the time to go back to Mount Battle, gain a little bit of experience and level grind quite a bit, I think once again we are still in good shape. And like I said, I will be returning to Mount Battle relatively soon, and I think it's important to do that from time to time. Again, I highly recommend just not doing it the way I'm doing it if you're going for the Earth Ribbon. Cotton Swab leveled up to level 40. It actually wants to learn the move Dragon Dance. We are absolutely going to let Cotton Swab learn this, and I'm actually going to get rid of Safeguard. I don't see myself using Safeguard really that much at all in this playthrough, so we're going to allow that move to be deleted in order for Cotton Swab to learn Dragon Dance. Dragon Dance is a very good move. I've already kind of mentioned this earlier on in the series, but it does raise the user's attack and speed. And the more times you use it, the more that those stats will be increased. So with Cotton Swab being part Dragon type, it will actually benefit it quite a bit, and it'll actually give a boost to its other attacks. Here we have another Shadow Pokemon. This time around we have Fortress. Fortress is actually a pretty solid choice. I think it's a very nice... I think it would be a very strong contender for any Pokemon team. I have personally never used it on my team in this game. But from what I know of Fortress, is that it is a very defensive Pokemon and can be used as a wall. Meaning that it would be extremely difficult for any other opposing teams to really do a lot of damage to it, unless, you have like a strong fire move like Fire Blast or something like that, because that's pretty damaging to Fortress, knowing that it is not only part bug type, but also part steel. So if you're planning on using Fortress, I would keep that in mind, but otherwise I think it's pretty solid. It is probably going to be a little bit more of a difficult catch for us because, like I said, it is pretty defensive and it is hard to damage it and weaken it. So it looks like we have our work cut out for us. And looks like she's not making things any easier by recalling it and sending out her Swablu. She's kind of being a little bit of a coward in that way, but I guess the AI is smart enough to be able to swap out Pokemon when it calls for it. So I guess we'll have to just kind of go with that, and hopefully we have another chance to catch Fortress when she decides to put it back out. Which I think, actually, now that we've taken out Pupitar, does she even have anybody else? No, she doesn't. So she's actually forced to switch back out to Fortress. That's kind of embarrassing for her. Little does she know we were going to take out Pupitar with no problem, because we have two Pokemon that stand up to it very nicely. And of course, Swablu, we used to have one previously. It's now evolved, so we know exactly what weaknesses it has, even though we have nothing that can actually be super effective against it. So we're going to go ahead and try Yawn again on Fortress this time and try to actually put it to sleep to make my my capture a little bit more easy, I guess. So blue is paralyzed. Very nice. Body slam will do that every now and then. Always good to count on that. We finally got Yawn off on Fortress. She has no other Pokemon to switch out to, so she is trapped and she has no other choice but to allow us to capture it. But again, I think it's going to be in much better hands with us than with her. She's not to be trusted. I mean, anyone that wears a mask like the ones that these guys do can't be trusted just right off the bat. Like, I wouldn't want to even talk to somebody that has a mask or any kind of uniform that they're wearing that's like all the same uniform. That's essentially a cult, you know, personality, and I'm not really a fan of cults. Just saying. I'm sorry if anyone's offended out there, but it's just not my cup of tea. We're gonna go ahead and try another surf. Holy shit. Okay, did not mean to do that much damage, but I guess we did. I think Fortress is definitely ready to catch at this point. Hoping it doesn't take itself out with a Shadow Rush. Thank goodness it fell asleep right at that time that I said that. But yeah, it is pretty much cornered. She has no other Pokemon left to send out, so it is time to go ahead and attempt to capture here. I'm going to go with the Great Ball. I don't feel confident enough in a Pokeball, even though it's pretty much all the way down to like no health. Hopefully this works, with it being asleep, with it being very weak. Crossing my fingers here. All right, very nice. On the first try, we got it. Send it back to the PC. We will add that one to our group of friends. Yeah, we think we're tough because we kind of just proved that we were, so. So now that we have cleared that scum out of our way, we can advance once again. We unfortunately lost Cotton Swab. The one thing I do not like about the Pokemon, or the Shadow Pokemon Lab, is that there is no way to actually heal your Pokemon anywhere in this lab. What I remember, because I know there's a PC in that other part of the lab that we entered at the very beginning, but as you can see, we haven't really stumbled upon any actual healing machines. So we get a nice greeting and welcome from our boy Lazar. I believe that's how you pronounce his name. He's going to give us a nice eating grin as a nice warm welcome, and he has a Rhyhorn and an Ariados to start off with. We'll send out Flashlight on Marsha. I think this is a much better duo to match up with these two, and we're going to see how things go here. And lo and behold, another Cypher Grunt, another Shadow Pokemon. So this time around we have Ariados. Ariados is a bug type, and I guess just that fact alone doesn't make it an awful choice, but I think for this game, I would probably skip out on using this for your team. Maybe there's somebody out there that does want to. You can, if that's just your personal preference, but I don't see any use of having an Ariados in this game. That's going to be mowed down quite a bit by some other Pokemon. Look at that, we have a Grovyle. Sorry, I get excited when I see some starter Pokemon, especially some from the from Gen 3, because you don't really see that a lot in this game. Hell, you don't see really many starter Pokemon in this game, other than the ones that we got at the beginning, or had the opportunity to catch at the beginning. But Grovyle's a cool looking Pokemon. I know, honestly, the Trico evolution line gets a lot of crap in Gen 3, like in Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, but I'm not gonna lie, like that's my go-to starter in Gen 3 is always Trico. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's my bias based off of the anime, because I feel like the Trico that Ash catches in the anime just has a very distinctive personality that it makes it attractive as a Pokemon to use on my team. I don't know. That's how I make my decisions when it comes to Pokemon choosing sometimes. So maybe that's why I end up going with not the best teams in some of the games. So unfortunately, a Flashlight was poisoned. That's going to do a little bit of damage. It's going to hurt quite a bit. But I think we are fine to take out this Grovyle. We have Apollo here to use this wonderful Psybeam attack, which will instantly destroy Grovyle in a matter of seconds. I love that it made an appearance, though. I gotta say, it does look really cool in this game, though. Again, a lot of the Gen 3 models look just outstanding, because this was the first game that you actually saw a 3D model of a Gen 3 Pokemon, just believe it or not. So, Ariados is gonna do some more poisonous moves. Flashlight, unfortunately, was not able to survive the hit. It did well, though. It's a soldier. And it looks like we're actually not in a good position here. We have actually lost half of our teams. As you can see, even though we did do some level grinding beforehand, before coming here, we are still not out of the woods when it comes to getting through some of these battles. But like I said, not having a healing machine can kind of damper our ability to kind of get through this with no problem, because we made it to like, what, this is like the 4th Cypher we faced off with so far, and We've made it this far without really any of our Pokemon fainting. We do have heals. I'm not really worried about, using those. For some reason in this game, and I feel like I do it in a lot of games, where I end up being very stingy with my heals and my items. After a few attempts, we finally caught Ariados in a Great Ball. It was sent off as well, and we have finished the battle. Just adding to our money pile as well as we proceed throughout this lab. We can go into this door, and we can see yet again another room that really doesn't have a lot in it other than this shiny object right here. And believe it or not, it is yet again another DNA sample. That makes 3 of them, and now that we have 3 of them, I wonder what we can do with those. We go over to the right side here. This is actually a dead end, but you will find an item chest containing a full restore. A very nice item. I don't think we've actually seen that yet in the game. But basically what a full restore is, in case you don't know, is if you have a Pokemon that is low on health, it can not only restore its health to maximum, but it will also eliminate any status issues as well at the same time. What in the name of... How did you two avoid the eyes of our security staff? Because they suck, sir. Hire better people. Alright, so Marcia grows to level 42, and it's trying to learn Earthquake. Man, this place has been great for learning some good moves. Earthquake is a move I've been waiting so long for Marcia to learn. It is a ground-type move that is very powerful. It has 100 power and 100% accuracy. We are absolutely getting rid of Mud Shot because that is another ground move, but that is much weaker than Earthquake. Earthquake is obviously superior. So we're going to choose that one to get to allow Marcia to learn Earthquake. We're going to be using this move quite a bit. I'm very excited. I'm smiling actually, and you can't see it. That's how happy I am about Earthquake. It's such a good move, especially in this game. And we take down another scientist. Do whatever you want. It's too late now. We're finished with our research. What you're doing is futile. We'll see about that, my guy. We will see about that. We have another room up there we have not been into. We can see some more clowns in there doing some... Who knows what the hell that's going on in there, actually. Alright, but now if we go back the way we came, yeah, there's really nothing else to get in this room. Unfortunately, it's kind of a letdown. You don't even really have to be in this room, I don't think. From what I'm seeing here, at least. We go back to this area. We have another Cypher Peon, believe it or not. She's flirting with us very creepily. It actually also amazes me how many of these adults, so, quote-unquote adults, are flirting with these teenagers, because that's disgusting. I mean, I know it's a kid's game, and they probably didn't really think about that stuff back in 2004, but I don't know, that stuff kind of sits a little weird with me now, because when you play this game later on as an adult and you have some characters that have like really weird dialogue, kind of like way back in Fennec City, that woman at the mayor's house in the upstairs, like she's kind of she comes off very like flirtatious to like a teenager. Maybe she doesn't know he's a teenager. Maybe he looks older than he is, but it's still a little weird. I don't know overall. And again, that's just something that's just funny, but they probably didn't think about that stuff. Maybe. I don't know. But you can see here that we have another Shadow Pokemon. This time we have Granbull. This one's a pretty strong choice. I would probably recommend Granbull for anybody wanting maybe a 6th member, 5th member, however many you need at this point. If you're looking for that last good Pokemon to fill out your team, this could be the one. It is pretty strong. I do remember that. Other than that, I don't really know what other moves it learns, but I would definitely recommend it for sure. It's better than most of the Pokemon you can obtain in this game. Flashlight gains another level, very nice. But if you remember when we faced off with Dakem back in Mount Battle, he used that very specific strategy where he would have one of his Pokemon use Earthquake, and he would have another Pokemon that would know the move Protect. So he would essentially use Protect with the one ally, and then his other Pokemon with the Earthquake attack would then use that in the same turn, protecting his own ally, but still doing damage to everybody else on the field, meaning just the opponents. So basically what I'm going to be doing is that same strategy. So now that we have Earthquake with Marcia, I am actually going to be using the Protect Earthquake strategy. So it's a very smart strategy in this game, especially at this point moving forward. I think it would be a great opportunity if you have a user that can learn Earthquake and another one that can learn Protect. I would highly recommend using that same strategy that Dakem used because it is very highly effective. Obviously, it worked really well for him way back then, so I think it's worth using for my team. 3 shakes and that'll do it. We got Grand Bull and an Ultra Bowl. Finally. Grand Bull and an Ultra Bowl. Yeah, I don't know if anyone's ever noticed, but in my videos, I feel like I have a slight speech impediment. And sometimes I'll make fun of it from time to time, but I tend to find it funny when I say certain words because my brain will be thinking one word and I will actually spit out a completely different word or something that sounds close to it but isn't a word. And sometimes that'll happen every now and then, but it's just kind of funny when it does happen because I catch myself doing it sometimes, and sometimes I'll edit it out and you'll never see it, but other times I'll just kind of laugh at it and make fun of it. But now that we have defeated that Cypher Peon, we've captured Grand Bull. You can see that we now have 2 paths we can take. We have 2 different elevators. One goes in one direction and one goes in the other direction, obviously. What direction those go, I cannot remember for sure. I do know the rooms that they do lead to. I just cannot remember which elevator takes you where. I guess we'll just take this first one just to see where it goes. Doesn't really matter, I guess, which order you take or what order you go in, as long as you take them both eventually. This one took us up. What are outsiders doing here? Why isn't security doing their job? Because you guys do not know how to hire a security staff. You do not know, let me rephrase that. You do not know how to hire a competent security staff. There you go. It's crazy how much money these guys are probably making off of doing whatever the hell it is in here, other than creating Shadow Pokemon, and yet they cannot actually afford a decent security staff. So maybe their budget's tighter than we think. Which is funny because every time we defeat a Cypher admin, they always have like thousands of dollars that they give us by the end of the fight. So you think that much money could be put towards a competent security team? Like, I feel like it could be. I mean, especially in 2004. I mean, I guess the economy probably wasn't like booming back then, but it was doing better than it is now, at least I would think. I don't know, maybe I'm off on that, but the wages definitely were a lot more in line with the cost of living back then. So I don't know how the hell these guys can't put enough. I mean, especially if they have thousands of dollars laying around at the end of battles. You're telling me they can't actually put that into an actual security team that can do their job well? But I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Who knows? This guy's gonna have an Ampharos. Ironically enough, we have ours out on the field as well. If you notice that my team actually has been healed between certain battles, I actually have been going off screen and healing over at Mount Battle. It's probably the fastest way you can heal your Pokemon. And like I said, if you don't have enough heals, I probably could have used my heals as well, but to save them, you can also choose to just go back to another Pokemon Center, really anywhere in the map. I just feel like Mount Battle might be the quickest one, since it's literally just directly north of where we are. But yeah, Ampharos has been taken out. We have Earthquake now, so we can use that to our heart's desire. And since we have Cotton Swab, who is immune to Earthquake, we can really use that attack when it is out on the field with Marcia. Now you're stuck. There's no escaping the lab for you. Oh,